What is up, and welcome back to another video. Now in this video, we're going to be covering 365 days of continuous meme coin investing and meme coin trading, how I've been able to clear multiple six-figure trades this year with profit. Of course, we'll be showing proof in this video, and you can check out all the highlights on my Instagram as well if you want to see proof and different strategies that we will cover. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the investing side instead of the narrative and trading side of meme coins, because it takes a lot less time and it works better for people with a little bit more money and a little bit less time versus basically trying to always catch the next narratives. And then you need to be caught up with being on Twitter 24/7. Okay. So that's what we're going to be covering in this video. So let's get right into it. So my number one thesis for this cycle is going to be that Abstract is going to be a major layer 2. So it's a layer 2 built on top of Ethereum. It's run by the same team as the Pudgy Penguins team, same as Luca Nets. Okay, this is his 9-figure exit plan. This is how he's going to become free. And obviously the Pengu token wasn't able to do that because it's been performing terribly. And that just wasn't going to make him super rich. Okay, so overall, our goal is to find strong coins early, right when they come out. Okay, that's your number one thing you want to do when you're looking for meme coins. Find coins with a strong narrative as soon as they come out. Okay, you want to bid them in the $500K to $2 million market cap before they get a lot of traction. Now, if you miss this vital initial step of bidding coins in the $500K to $2 million market cap and riding them up, your next best option is to wait for a 50 to 80% pullback to then get an entry. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys exactly how you would do this. So, example, Abster and Newt, Billy Betts, right? We'll focus on Abster and Newt right now. These are the biggest coins on the Abstract chain, right? So I think in the future, the thesis is that these coins will be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Why? Because Abstract's not big now, but Abstract will be big in the future. That's the same reason why we're farming the airdrop. If you want to learn how to farm the airdrop, then we're covering that in my private group in the Discord, and I posted some stuff on Instagram about that as well. So anyways, right here, we missed the initial run up. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to buy over here because this is where you get slaughtered. Cool, no worries. So we're going to wait for a 50% dip. And then I made an entry into Abster a little bit before this, but then also again at $9 million, right? Same thing goes for Billy Betts. Came out at a $2 million market cap. This is where I initially bid it, but then it came down around 75%. It came back to a $2.6 million market cap. That's where I would enter, right? That was a 75% dip. So you want to be bidding 50 to 70% retracements on strong coins, right? And this strategy works not just the coins I'm showing here, but basically any coin that you think is strong, right? Even if you look at something like Farcoin, right? I'll pull it up right now. Farcoin. The same thing would be true, right? Like you could just buy basically from here, like 50 to 70%, 50 to 80% dips, and you probably would have been buying around this 20, 30 cent mark. You would have had a 3x, right? This is the same thing that we just did with Billy. And this is exactly how basically it just got a 3x from 2 mil up to 6 mil around here. And it's a pretty easy strategy that tends to work most of the time. Now, same thing with Newt, right? It was obviously like ripping way above the VWAP. So like I didn't want to bid it here. Okay, cool. I'll wait for a 60% drop in this case, and I'll bid it at $10 million. So this allows me to not fumble and get good entries on strong coins. And then I can always take profits later and then ride it up again. Okay. So most of you guys probably don't know how meme coins are actually run, like what goes on behind the scenes. So I'm going to break it down so you guys actually know the playbook, because I think it's going to be pretty useful. Okay, so most meme coins need to OTC tokens to influencers. Why is that? Okay, so when a meme coin comes out, it's not like a VC coin. They have no funding to go and pay for marketing, to go and pay for listings. They have nothing, right? All a meme coin has is control of the supply and attention. Okay, so they need to get influencers on board to this token so that they can make the token price go up, right? They need people to be affiliate marketers to spread the message. Now, if you're not willing to give me tokens, right, OTC or other huge influencers, right, you're at a discount. You're not going to want to get involved with the project. Why? Because there's nothing in it for you, right? As the influencer, as the marketer, you need to have some sort of asymmetric upside. So yes, you could buy it on the open market, but you'd rather meet with the team, learn what they're doing, and then buy a big amount of the supply or a chunk of the supply at a discounted price, because then there's something in it for me if the token does well, right? And this is how every single influencer, creator, investor would think. And then essentially, when you guys buy a meme coin also, you are also then affiliate marketers by virtue, because anyone that buys a token, right, if you hold a token in your wallet, you're going to be telling your friends if it goes up, like you are effectively an affiliate marketer, and then it branches off and so on and so forth. Okay, so keep in mind, these meme coins need to make money somehow. So the price goes up, they OTC it out to some influencers. What do? The influencers then go post on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And then they find sources of liquidity to bring more people in, okay? So you can only find winners in meme coins, especially in terms of long-term investing, by having a good group and getting entries early, right? Now, yes, you can find, meme coins and whatnot through Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, but the vast majority of people, if you're just trying to buy stuff off Instagram or TikTok, you're most likely going to get killed in the long term because you need to rely on someone else to make money. Now, private groups a little different because you're getting early entries in, and you're basically like skipping the pecking order, if you will, of information, because you're paying to get ahead and pay for that information. Okay, so like I said, multiple 50 to 70% dips. So most meme coins, as you guys know, especially in long-term investing, if you want them to go to hundreds of millions of dollars and you want to buy them at $2 million market cap, it's going to go something like this. And there might be like a huge crash, and then it goes up and up and up and up and up. It makes higher lows, okay? No meme coin is going to go like straight up. Like this idea that like it would just go parabolic is stupid and doesn't happen, okay? Maybe in a bull run for like a second this happens, but then the crash is like terrible and probably will end something like this, and then it'll go like this, and then this is where you want to accumulate, okay? But it rarely ever goes straight up, so you got to be aware of that, okay? So the people that get in the earliest is going to be obviously the team, the super early organic followers that are just following this project on socials. Then people that would be like my friends, like the friends of influencers, for example, and then basically the word spreads, then there becomes new organic, then the team needs to OTC out more tokens to make more money, to bring in more influencers to increase the price, right? And then the cycle repeats, and basically this ends up going to billions of dollars, or it ends up crashing, okay? And just be aware, right? Like everything over a long enough time frame is going to go to zero. Every meme coin you see now, most currencies, most cryptos you see now, are going to end up at zero. And the only thing that I'm quite certain of is that in 10 years, Bitcoin will be worth a lot more than it is right now. So the game at the end of the day is to do whatever you need to do in the interim to acquire more Bitcoin faster and cheaper than everybody else. And so how are we going to do this? Through long-term investing of meme coins, because there's more upside, and therefore when I sell my bag, I can convert it into Bitcoin and acquire more Bitcoin faster and cheaper than others. Okay. And so, like I'm saying, like that's always been the goal. Okay. So moving on. Okay. So a good overall portfolio strategy that I've been working with is basically, depending on where you are in the market, is going to be 70% in safe bets being Bitcoin, Sol, ETH, right? Render, Tau, Sweet, Hype. If we're in the lows of the bear market, like similar to how we are now, these are good things to focus on because there's asymmetry in all of these bets, right? You already know that Sol and ETH and Render and Tau and Sweet are going to outperform Bitcoin. Now, the rule is, for me, unless something is going to basically 2 to 3x outperform Bitcoin, it's not worth it. Why? Because when Bitcoin crashes, it goes down 50%. When, Render, Tau, Sweet, Hype crash, they go down 80%. So there needs to be asymmetry in the bet. Now, if you're getting into the later stages of the bull run, I would look to go more into Bitcoin and 30% into memes. Why? Because memes run the hardest at the end of the bull run when everyone gets rich, but most people don't stay rich, and then BTC goes down the least. So this is what I would do in the bear market, and then this is what I would do in the bull market, okay? Now, capital needs to be used across a time horizon, right? Short, mid, and long. How long is this trade going to take to play out? How long can I hold this trade? Can I hold it through an 80% dip? And then your allocation needs to match the volatility and conditions, right? Like you can't full clip a coin if there's not enough liquidity. Like you'll destroy the entire token, right? Like I'll just use Billy Bets, for example. Like there's only $300,000 of liquidity in the liquidity pool here. So I can't go and clip a 50K sell order, or else I'll destroy the entire coin, basically, and like the whole project. And also you would never be able to get all of your orders filled at this 0.057 mark, right? Or at a $5 million market cap. Like you'll bring down the entire token, right? And you can also see like there's only $120,000 of volume. So you can never full clip that. Something on Appster, right, has a bit more, has about the same volume, $10 million market cap at 346K of liquidity. So you couldn't full clip this anyway. So you need to wait so you can actually like sell your entire position, which people don't understand, because you can't just exit just because that's what the market price says. Okay. And then you have to just understand what's going on. Like, why would you buy Newt or Appster if you don't know what's happening in the project? How are you going to know if it's overvalued or undervalued? In my case, it's undervalued because I know that the biggest memes on Abstract will be worth hundreds of millions of dollars once Abstract becomes a multi-billion-dollar layer 2 chain. And so I can infer that based on like what WIF has done, what Lofi has done, what the top coins on other chains have done, like even Lofi, where we bought it at $10 million or $20 million. Yes, it's doing terrible now, but we've already exited the entire position, right? We're buying it over here at 10 mil, ran at 250 or 20 mil, ran at 250 mil, right? And that's because it was the biggest chain on the biggest meme coin on Lofi, the biggest meme coin on Sui, right? And so this was when Sui was at $5. Obviously, Sui got nuked 50%. So then the biggest coin, the biggest meme coin on Sui will then proportionately go down a lot more because memes outperform, but then they also go down more. And this is the same thing that's happened with Brett, and just another rule. Like, I just don't bid meme coins over $1 billion because it's a waste of time and there's no asymmetry, right? Like, the best thing that happens is you would maybe like 4 or 5 extra money, and then the worst case scenario is it's fucking 90% downside. So it's absolutely pointless. And people that tell you to bid meme coins over $1 billion are fucking retarded, and you shouldn't listen to them. Okay. So in order to get in early, you need to move yourself up across the food chain. Unfortunately, this is just the case of it. If you have influence, you're going to get better alpha. You're going to be invited to groups. You're going to get better information, right? Like, if you want to do the best in crypto, you got to post content. It is what it is, right? Twitter, IG, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is. That's how you're going to get the best information. That's how you're going to get the best alpha. That's why Alex Becker gets the best alpha. That's why he's made $30 million crypto. Like, it is what it is. That's the name of the game. That's the truth. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do that, then you can go one stage down, which is you can be people that are friends with Alex Becker. I'm sure do very well. If he had a paid group, those would do really well. I bet if you're in Neo Tokyo, he's giving you some good opportunities, right? Or any other private chats. Like, you can basically buy your way closer to the top of the food chain. The earlier you get into a coin, obviously it's going to be better in terms of asymmetric upside, but the probability that the coin ends up going to zero is going to be a lot higher, because in the initial stages of a coin being created, the team's not yet created. There's not influencers yet on board. There's not distribution yet created. Like, there's a lot more risk of the coin going to zero. That's why I personally don't love trading like super early meme coins. I'd rather buy them at 500K to 2 mil, and then I try and ride them into the $100 million range and grab somewhere between like a 20 and 100x, give or take, right? And then I want to exit when there's exchange listings, when there's a big airdrop, right? When socials are being pushed everywhere, right? This is where you find exit liquidity, and then you would leave. Okay. So every coin, VC, or meme has a cabal. Everyone wants to say that cabals are bad. Cabals are not bad. Cabals are actually good. Cabals allow the price to be controlled so that people don't cheat the price. So if a token's dumping, the cabal would be the one to not sell the token. Now, obviously, cabals can be good and bad. Like, yes, they can be used to extract money from the market, like we saw with the Argentine coin. However, most of the time, cabals are good because it's a group of people that are holding up the price that have a long-term vision on the token. If they don't care about the token and they don't care about the price, then they're not going to give a fuck, and then they're going to wreck the entire project, okay? So people also say that team selling is bad. Team selling is not bad. If you're not a VC coin, then you haven't raised money. If you haven't raised money, then the founders, the team, like, people need to make money, or there's no reason to run the meme coin projects. No one's going to run it for fun. People have shit to pay for. It is what it is. So marketing is expensive, right? Influencers on TikTok, YouTube, IG, Twitter, right? Like, it's expensive. Devs are expensive. They need to be able to OTC these coins out to make money so that they can pay for, they can pay to do all this stuff. And that's the reality of the situation. So they need to be able to make money. Okay. As crazy as it is, everyone's in meme coins to get rich, right? It's the fastest way to get rich. It's also the fastest way to lose your money, because it's high risk and it's high reward. Okay. So every meme coin eventually is going to trend to zero over a long enough time period, right? You're using this to fast track your way to wealth, taking on massive risk for asymmetric returns. you're playing a zero-sum game, like we've always said. For you to win, someone else must lose. And once you find a winner and make enough money, you have to leave the casino, right? You cannot hold memes through multi-cycles, right? Those who held memes even through this dip are down 90% plus. Even if you look at something like Farcoin, if you would hold it from top all the way down to the peak, that would be like a 95% drop, okay? Now, leaving the party too early is always better than leaving the party too late. You probably could have seen this for a lot of people that had a lot of SOL. Selling it at 300 or selling it on the way up at 250 would have been a lot better than holding it down to 100. But, you know, it is what it is sometimes, and you get caught holding bag, so you can learn for next time, okay? So only take advice from people who actually buy the coin. This is something that I preach a lot, especially in my groups. Anything I post in my private groups, Instagram, etc., I'm buying the actual token, okay? Most things you see online are paid shills. If someone's calling 100 coins, then I wouldn't trust them, because you can't call 100 coins, right? You have no idea what's going on in all these coins, okay? Now, if someone's getting paid just in general to talk about a coin, they probably tend to not care how the coin is going to do, because they're just getting paid. Now, if I have to buy into a token, right, I'm buying into the pre-sale, I'm buying an OTC from the team. Yes, I'm still paying. Yes, I am getting a discount to tokens in that sense, but I'm paying for it with my own money. So I'm more inclined to care about how the token is going to do, because I'm not getting anything for free. I'm just getting a discount, but I'm buying it with my own money. So that's a pretty big difference. And I'm also way more bought into the idea, because again, I'm buying it with my own money and I'm not just getting paid, okay? So keys to a home run play that allowed me to clear 6 figures on multiple trades earlier this year. So my ideal situation, 500K market cap to $3 million market cap coin, accumulate with size. So I want to be buying size. Like, let's just say, at 500K to 3 market cap, I want to buy somewhere between like $10,000 and $30,000 worth of the coin to get a good amount of the supply, right? I don't want to do anything with it. I just want to hold it. I want to try and contact the team, see what they want to do, make sure I'm bullish about it, right? I want to have some connections with the team. I understand that's not possible for everybody, but if you're in a position to do so, then I would highly suggest it, right? And then I want to be capturing the house money effect on a growing chain, right? So house money effect would be everyone got rich in Solana. Then I want to capture people being retarded and gambling away their gains they've made on Solana. And so then I'm going to buy memes on Solana, right? Same thing with Appster. Same thing with Hyperliquid. When Hyperliquid went insane because everyone made a lot of money on the airdrops, then I would want to go and capture meme coins on Hyperliquid, right? And so same thing with Abstract, that's going to happen in the future. And then you need to have an idea of who will be your extra liquidity to buy the token for you in the future. So I know people that are going to buy Abstract in the future are going to be people that are that got rich from the Abstract airdrop that we are farming, like I've said before. And then they want to go and gamble their money away in buying memes. And so we want to capture that and take their money, okay? And then I also want to buy like top memes on new chains. So we did that with Lofi, was like a great example. Top meme on Sui, right when it came out, ended up doing 10, 15x, okay? And then you could do that with Toshi, with Brett, with Hype, with Whiff, etc., right? You want to just keep following this strategy. Now you just got to be careful, because something like Berachain or like some other chains that come out just won't have enough volume. So you got to be kind of careful with the strategy. But I think it's pretty obvious where this would make sense. Right? And then if you're buying memes on a new chain, the new chains are going to support the main memes, right? So we directly supported Lofi. They shared memes, tweeted, they interacted with them, gone on spaces with them, right? And so that obviously ended up doing really well. Okay, so narratives are the most important thing in crypto. If you can forward predict, what will happen in the future, then you can make money. If I can forward predict that Billy Bets is going to be big because sports betting is huge, then I can predict how much money I'm going to make in the future, okay? At the end of the day, like we said, like no path is going to be parabolic like this. A lot of them are going to look, something like this. And then, maybe they'll have like a huge crash and they keep building up, right? Until hopefully you get to that $100 million market cap. But you get paid for the volatility. You get paid for holding through all of this. That's the same thing with Bitcoin. You got paid for holding through the volatility, okay? So the path to a 50x coin is not linear and will never be linear, because if it was linear, then like the crashes would just be like ridiculously even worse than they are now, okay? Now, not all influencers can be trusted. I've already said this. You want to, it's a good double check if someone else is calling it, but you want to make sure that you have your ideas right. And if everyone's calling it on Twitter, Instagram, IG, then I would actually look to take profits, okay? Like I already said, if someone's calling 100 coins, they're probably terrible. There's no reason why you should trust them. Every time I call a trade or a meme coin, I put my reputation on the line and also my business too, right? So if they have nothing to lose, then why would you trust them, right? if I call a bad coin, if I lose my Discord money, if I lose my private group money, if I lose my friend's money, then like obviously my private group, that's my business, ends up getting negatively affected. And then if I call a lot of bad coins because I'm just trying to make money and shill stuff to people, which I don't do, then obviously my reputation would get tarnished and people wouldn't want to take my advice on things. And then that would hurt my business. So every time I call something, I have a lot to lose. Okay. Now you got to also be careful copying other traders, right? Most people are just using you for exit liquidity. Cupsy, Frank, like all these people that are copy trading, you're watching their wallets, right? They know that you're watching their wallets. They buy something, they wait for you, you buy it. They say, okay, boom, exit liquidity. They sell it. They exit with clean couple X's. And then you're left holding the bag and then the token goes down, right? And so this is basically how it always works. And this is why like Frank, Cupsy, all these guys that have huge followings and people that are tracking their wallets have been able to clear over $20 million this year trading meme coins. So that's why, because they're just extracting liquidity from you guys, okay? So if you're going to track wallets, that's cool, but that's just a double check that you're buying things that are interesting. And then when everyone's buying the coin you've already bought, because you've been able to spot a narrative ahead of everyone else, then you can look to use that for exit liquidity. Okay. So that is going to conclude this video on 365 days of meme coin investing in less than 20 minutes. And now I've been able to clear multiple six figures on multiple trades this cycle. And if you are interested in joining the Discord, there's going to be a link in the bio for the private group. And obviously, as always, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment, follow me on Instagram for more information and faster updates for what trades I'm taking and what we are doing. Okay, let's go. See you guys in the next one. Peace.